Hey VIPs, DFS Army, this is Choppadong again, showing you that tool that we're releasing that you got the link to, the spreadsheets tool, and how I would use it. Remember I said I would like to be able to sort the columns and find things that are out of place. Here's how I would do that. The first thing that you're going to have to do is make a copy of the tool to get it to sort for you. And when you do, you can sort it by salary, Z to A, and then bring all the big salaries to the top, right? Or you can do what I'm doing right now, which is sorting Z to A by DK average. This is my baseline. This is the most steady. It's got the most sample. It's the least volatile of the line of the moving averages right now because it's got the most games attached to it. And I'm going to compare the last 10 games or the last 5 games to these numbers. Is it higher? He's hot. Is it lower? He's cold. Pretty simple. As the line goes up and down and moves across this number, it gives me buy and sell indicators. It tells me overpriced or underpriced. Does it work every time? No. But over the course of a season, it works eventually. Okay, I don't know what nights. Tonight could be a crappy night. Tonight could be a great night. I don't know. But what I know is if I do this over a week, I'll see some results. If I do this over 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, I'll start seeing some results. Maybe it's only 55% of the time or 60%. Well, that's the nature of DFS, man. You're not going to win every night. In fact, if you win 65% of your matchups, you are an absolute legend in the business. And people can't get that around their heads where you mean I'm not going to win much more often than a coin flip? Nope. You're not. Not in a head-to-head, not in a 50-50. And in a GPP, it's going to be far less often. But the trick is in those GPPs, if you're playing those, you may only win them 1/10% of the time, if that often. But when you do, the payout is so huge that it makes up for all the lost damage. Okay? You have to win. The payouts aren't as good in head-to-heads and 50-50s. That's why you have to win them more often to make a profit. So using this stuff over large samples is what actually works for you. And you have to have the bankroll to withstand it. All that stuff we talk about all ties in. But when I'm looking at season-long DraftKings average here as my baseline, I'm looking for guys that are out of place. And I might look at the last 10 games or the last 5 games. And I look down here, no further than, look at how under Matthews is. And I'm not trying to sell him as a bad play tonight. I'm trying to teach you how to look at it to your advantage. Probably worth the fade in GPPs because he's so low. Now you could say, well, maybe he'll bounce back tonight and turn that. And you're right, he might. I'm just telling you, there are always multiple ways to look. You can bend any number to tell any story you want it to tell. And I'm telling the story of I expect him. He'll have a fine night, but it won't be 18 or 20 DK points based on his last few games. Can he score 40? Yes. Is he going to tonight? I don't think so. I think there's something up with him. That said, if I come down to here and see the green numbers, DeBrincat and Forsberg are hot, right? Definitely worthy of consideration. Trocheck, hot. These are Hedman's getting hot. I'd choose Hedman over Stamkos maybe at this point. Stamkos is a little bit cooler. These are positions that I would take and key players I would adjust their projections or smiley face them, like, love, adore, whatever, to get more of these guys into my lineups. Okay, I wouldn't go all in on any of them, but if I was getting 30%, I might want 35 or 40%. I might bump him a little bit to give myself a little bit more exposure to that guy since he's running hot. Come down here, Huberdeau, if I'm playing Florida, definitely has got to be included. Look at Andre Palat. For crying out loud, this guy needs to be adored and used while he's running hot. He will cool off, and when he cools off, we'll get the hell off of him. But for right now, he is so hot, he's underpriced. Down here, Ekblad, still on that train. He's riding hot. Dougie Hamilton, heating up. Nylander, there's a nice little kicker. You want to run Tavares and Nylander tonight? Be my guest. It makes sense. It gets you off of Matthews, where everybody else might go, and it gets you onto Tavares and Nylander, and maybe somebody else like a Muzzin or a Hole or something like that gives you a rather unique stack in a game that could go off. That's part of the nature of the game. Scrolling down here even more, we can find some of these really, really cheap guys, like down here, right? Killorn and Gord, more Tampa Bay guys. If you could find Killorn, Gord, and Palat on the same damn line or the same power play, that's where you should go because all 3 dudes are running 6 to 10 points above their averages over the last 10 games. They're all white hot. Use them. especially playing a team like Detroit. So come down here a little bit more. You've got this Eli Tolvanen guy again. You've got Zadina in Detroit. Okay, you want to throw, I guess he's a defenseman or something. You want to throw a little cheapie in there? It makes sense. Maybe that won't last. Maybe it was a one-game fluke. I don't know. Another way you can do this, that's how I like to do it, is I'm watching the salaries for the out-of-place stuff based on this, or the hot streak guys. If I sort by salary, it's another way to do this. I'm going to be watching production. And I'm going to watch for the out-of-place production. If I come down here to the cheap guys, I'm seeing a lot of zeros, ones, twos, whatever. So I'd be looking for 5s and 6s. Now I'm back up into the 3s and 4s. I'd be looking for a 6 or a 7. Here are some 5s. The 5s are starting to pop in here. I'm just looking for something that's, out of place, like this 8. These are all 5s, 6s, 7s, and 4s. So this 8, Mason Appleton. He might make for a great $2,500 punt if he's playing and playing well. I look at his last 5 games, not so much. His last 10 games, not so much. Maybe I'm off of him. Maybe Noel Acciari makes more sense. 7 games on the average, or 7 points on the average, and he's running 7 points above that. I'm sorry, 6. I'm looking at DK again instead of FanDuel. But 6.79 points, he's running 7 points above that. He's running a 10 point whatever. 16.1, 13.8. Geez, it's right next to it, Chip. Look, 7-point differential, right? If I'm needing a punt tonight, I know where to go. He's already outpacing the salary range on a season-long number. He's being forgotten, of course, and he's running hot. Ding, 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 green light. Keeps going down. There's a 9. Is it hot? A little. Marchman. Okay. Makes some sense. I'm starting to see some 8s and some 9s in here. These are Spezza. These are guys that warrant consideration. And now I'm back down to the 4s, 5s, 6s, whatever. So now, maybe I'm looking for some 10s. There's a 13.45. See how that just sticks right out away from all these guys? It's running cold, but Svechnikov in Detroit, if he was running hot, well, he's running a little bit of a surplus. Might be worth taking still, because there's no way his price is caught up to this. Look, he's down in here with 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and he's a 13. Way underpriced. Use guys like these in your cash lineups as your punts. Scrolling. Looking for, and these are 10, and Svechnikov is still above these guys. And now we're at 3,800 for Bjorkstrand. Scrolling. Just again, looking for out-of-place numbers. The Svechnikov is still above these two. Who's this? Nekus or Nietzsche or whatever, and Reiner. Scrolling. There's a 14. Finally got somebody above Svechnikov. Huberdeau. 14 on the season, running white hot at 5,400. So Svechnikov is actually kind of like a $5,400 player you're getting for $3,500. That's stupid value. Is it going to work out tonight? I don't know. Is it going to work out over 3 or 4 or 5 games? It should work out a couple of times in that span, because that was a season-long number we were looking at. Okay? That's the thing. The season-long baseline is the most steady. That's what you can kind of count on. He's going to run above it. He's going to run below it. But look at how far underpriced he is compared to the next comparable player, which is Huberdeau or Kubalik, $5,500. So that guy's a $5,500 player for $3,800, $3,900. That's something you need to take advantage of. It's a great punt play if you want to make your overall cash games better. Scrolling. And not that those guys are bad, but there's a 17. Pavelski, Pavelski at 6,400 is probably still a little bit underpriced. You'd like to see him run a little bit hotter than this. It looks like he's maxing out at about 17 points per on FanDuel anyway. Scrolling. And see, now they get less out of place up here, right? But look, 16 on the average out of Ovechkin, way under everybody else. This is a brand name. That's all that is. He's not a value. You'd be better off with just about anybody else in this range right here for the price than Alexander Ovechkin. He's just not scoring goals right now. Same with probably Stamkos at 15 this year, Bergeron at 16 this year. Now they're going to get hot and they're going to get cold. But as a general rule, you might play a DeBrincat. Look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4th in 5th in price and 4th in point production. Probably something we should pay attention to is a little bit of value there. You can do that too. You can rank. How far down are these guys 13.63, whatever. And and if I sorted by production, I could count. But this is the salary, and the production's way lower than this. But if I come down here to 17.31, he's what, 23rd in price in the league on the slate tonight? 23rd in price point, but at 17.31. He is 8th. So 17th in price, 8th in production. That's big. That's big value. Again, you don't realize it every single night, but you do realize it if you had played him every night so far this season. So again, one of the things you do in this that I'm learning to do is treat my daily fantasy a little bit more like a season long, kind of blend it. Get on some guys like this that are showing baseline value, that are showing that they are underpriced for whatever reason. Either people aren't playing them, or they're on a crappy team, or they're not a brand name, or whatever, and get on those guys that are bringing consistent value over a large sample and stay on them. Night in, night out, matchup in, matchup out, unless they're facing truly heinous matchups, stay on them. You don't know when their good nights are coming. What you do know is they are coming consistently for the price that you have to pay. Therefore, they're bringing you value. And I want that value in my lineup each and every night I can possibly get it in there. It's going to make me a better player. It's not going to help me make a better lineup tonight. It's going to help me make better lineups over the next month. And I'm just going to take the wins with the losses, and at the end of the month, look at my numbers and go, looky there, they're higher. That's all I care about. But this is one of the fundamental things that you have to do. And we have assembled the tools to help you find these things super easy. You just have to learn how to use the tools and learn how to spot those key players. Like, again, tonight, I'd be all over Palat in Tampa Bay if I was playing Tampa Bay. Maybe he cools off tonight, and it sucks for 5 days. And if that's the case, we'll adjust this as we watch it, and we'll get off of him. But for right now, there's no hotter player on the entire slate for the price, and I'd probably be playing him. All right, guys, hopefully that helps you understand this tool a little bit better when you can make your own copy, sort the columns, look for the things that stick out that are kind of weird, and then analyze why it's weird. Is it too cold or is it too hot or what? And then should I play that guy or should I not? Okay? Hopefully that helps, and we'll talk at you soon.
Got it.